Jace wanted us to look at PSG. Now, it's so difficult at the moment to identify buying opportunities because I do not have turnaround candles, not even on my daily graphs. So I need to find that support at some stage and then wait for that hammer, that dragonfly, that positive technical indicator that the big money, the informed capital have started to accumulate again. At this stage, I do not have that on PSG. And as I've said before, Jess, that this descending triangle normally appears at the bottom of a trend. And then when that upper band changes into a support, it acts as a continuation pattern, meaning the momentum to the top can continue. However, when a descending triangle appears at the top of a rally, very dangerous formation, because when that lower band changes into a resistance, and that on PSG weighted at 207 Rand and 49 cents, when that level changed into resistance, you could not even wait for a Friday close on a weekly graph. It just plummeted to lower levels. And again, strong lower higher. That was the second warning that say, hey, the sellers are going to knock this thing to pieces. But again, take note of my 40-week moving average. That was the first bell that rang on PSG that said, hey, there are sellers that are keen to take this share to lower levels. Again, here as well, tried week after week to keep that 40-week moving average as support, and it could not do that. Again, lower highs were visible on PSG. Every time it bounced, it could not take out the previous high, and that is seen as negative. How far can it go? The next strong support on PSG is waiting there exactly where the share is at the moment at around 109 Rand 90 cents. And this takes these levels back to October 2014. Now we know the brand, strong brand, but at these levels, there might definitely be opportunity to start to accumulate the share. Can it go a lot lower? Yes. I mean, the levels it traded at in 2013 was 59 Rand 21 a share. And even lower if we go back to 2009 in the financial crisis when the share traded at 12 Rand 76. Ugly graphs. But there are so many opportunities in this market at the moment because it's not going to carry on forever. At some stage, it will turn around. The tide will turn. And then you want to have cash to be able to buy this market because there are going to be ample opportunity. Cliff wanted us to look at the gold price. Now, I've mentioned before, people buy gold in rainy days, and when the rainy days are upon us, they sell it to buy actual things. But Cliff, take note. The 40-week moving average has changed into support, into a resistance, and that weighted at $1,503, which means the bell has rang. The first bell has rang on gold. If the gold price does not close above $1,503 by Friday, that bell is still ringing. Now we can see the next strong support on gold is waiting at $1,460. So you can maybe see support here, it's a strong level, and a little bit of a bounce. But the strong resistance that needs to change into a support in order to fulfill the momentum to the top is waiting at $1,530. Above $1,530, you can take a sigh of relief knowing that the probability is there that the gold price can continue to higher levels. However, if the gold price might be building on a right shoulder here, I'm assuming that it bounces and it finds resistance here. I don't need to tell you what to do when that neckline changes into a resistance. When $1,460 changes into a resistance, that hidden shoulder formation will be confirmed, which can take the gold price a lot lower. Where's the next support on the gold price? $1,340. And I mean, if you extend it, it just becomes lower and lower. So take note of the 40-week. Keep an eye on that left shoulder, the target there at $1,530, and then obviously that neckline. Again, if you maybe want to trade the bounce, do so, but have a look at your daily candles and make sure you know them at this stage. Stephen wanted us to look at British American tobacco. British American tobacco, a favorite amongst many, and let me just maybe go to the one on the JSE. There is a rising channel on British American tobacco. Now, Stephen, a rising channel is a negative formation. Why? Because when this lower band changes into a resistance, the target of the band is usually the width of the channel, and let me give that to you. The width of the channel projected downwards, which means the possibility is there that British American Tobacco can go back to 395 Rand 87. However, take note how close, and one, it supported these lower bands, and that is waiting at 543.90. So it can keep those levels as support. And take note how close it is to the 40-week moving average, and that is waiting at 568 Rand 60. So above that level, I will be very comfortable with it, assuming that the momentum to the top can continue then, as long as there's buying interest. But a rising channel within an overall downtrend can act as a continuation pattern for more downside, which means that if this level changes into a resistance, this will be seen as a bearish flag formation, which is very negative. So, if you want to buy in small pieces, I think you can do around current levels. Keep an eye on your candles and your 40-week moving average and make sure that they are support levels, because it can easily, at these levels, it can easily wipe out the negativity of that formation and bounce a lot higher, back to around 640 Rand, back to around 672 Rand. Keith wanted us to look at Kumba. Share that also got knocked to pieces, massive downside, but at least it found support there around 234 Rand 36. So again, that iron bull has found a bottom at 234 Rand 36. Will that bottom hold? Yes, as long as it remains support. And on a graph, you can see that when you look at the candles or even a line graph to say this is still a support, which means investors are still buying the dips. So sometimes it is possible to identify the bottom. I hear some analysts say it's not possible. It is possible. From a technical perspective, you can do that. The big question is, do you know how to do that, one? And two is, will that level last? Our subscribers who looked at Sabanya had critical levels they had to keep an eye on, that were strong support levels that had their history behind it, to say below these levels, be careful and take your profit. We've seen timing, if you look at the high Ps, I've mentioned it before, as nobody that took profit in this market are upset at the moment. But it is the greed that have kept the high Ps in place that are now pulling their hair out. And let this be a lesson for us going forward. Take the easy money. If your share is in a 10 or a 20%, take profit, wait for a pullback, buy again, because there is going to be opportunity. And I've mentioned it before, this market is not going to drop in one line. It will bounce. The question will be, is how high is it going to bounce? And will it be able to close the windows that are waiting up on the graphs? If it can't close those windows and it starts to retrace again, from a mathematical, technical perspective, it can get even worse. So know your graphs, know your candles, and make sure you identify the strong support levels and stick to them. And again, if you have not stick to your position size and you are down and out, may this be a lesson then for you for the next time, to make sure that you know how to determine your position size, stick to it so that you do not bust your account. Now the big level is waiting there at that resistance at the moment, and that is waiting at 291 Rand. So if Kumba changes 291 Rand into a support, the next critical resistance is waiting at 335 Rand 60. Again, I am seeing lower highs. So if this next lower high finds the support, bounces and finds resistance again, I will be concerned about Kumba, which tells me that I need to maybe wait for higher lows as confirmation that the informed capital are continuing to buy the dips. Obviously, the shares are oversold because they've been knocked to pieces. So wait for that confirmation on whatever indicator you use, whether it's an RSI or a stochastic. Wait for the confirmation. If you do not want to wait for the confirmation, make sure you buy small enough and phase yourself in to average that price, and do not overexpose yourself to one share too much. Fatima wanted us to look at harmony. Again, another gold counter on our exchange, but again, this rising channel has changed into a resistance. And now it can easily take the share a lot lower, back to the next strong support, which is waiting at 31 Rand 90. My 40-week moving average has changed into a resistance. And take note how close that was to that lower band, which tells me the bell has rang for harmony. It can go a lot lower. If the share does not find a place to support it at some stage, and that is waiting there at around 37.40, it can go a lot lower. And again, I think it is self-explanatory when I zoom out and I show you, Fatima, that we might be sitting here on harmony again with a massive double top formation. If harmony does not find buying interest and it doesn't find a support, we can be sitting here with a massive double top on harmony. And then you know that is a warning formation. And that neckline of that double top is waiting at 21 Rand and 10 cents. When will the negativity become obsolete and off the table? When the share starts to consolidate again above 59 Rand 40. So if you are a trader, look at your graphs, make sure you know your candles, make sure you know how to determine your position size and make use of the volatility. There are ample opportunities. We've had so much fun. It has been really an education, and if you have any interest in technical analysis, I think this is the time to really learn. And we've got beautiful videos, education videos that you can watch during this time if you're sitting at home. Have a fantastic week, and may this panic finish soon.